Alright, what's up YouTube? Today we're going to get into a very important point about relationships. And now this one with autism, use your personality wisely. Know what works for you. Decide, where have you been successful and where haven't you? You see, you have a light that you can be seen in that can be good or bad. And depending on, not everybody's going to like you. So you got to find your niche and find what's a good fit for you. And you'll find that some people are very outgoing and, kind of the center of attention, and some people are more reserved. Some people have a sense of humor. Some people kind of joke around. Some are very serious or realists. Some of them are more like idealists. Some people may have certain talents. And when you use things wisely, then you can help. Now, a lot of times what we found before, you read the book Pretending to be Normal. Now, this woman honestly didn't understand herself in college, and she picked a lot of stuff that just didn't represent her. And so people didn't see her in a good light. She may have had a misunderstood personality or character, but whatever she did was a negative reinforcement. In people's minds, they probably didn't have a good impression of her. And she may have taken classes that she was not naturally talented at. And when she tried to work in them, she got confused. But this was a time when people knew less about autism. And so she may have been railroaded into any image you could imagine. There could be a guy out here that approaches somebody who his personality doesn't click with. And this person thinks, oh my God, he looks like a thug. Or oh my God, this guy looks like a weirdo or whatever. And they just jump to conclusions. And, he may hang out with a biker looking guy, or somebody that wears a trench coat, and this guy's into death metal. Now this other guy turns around, wears this, and everybody's like, oh my God, he looks like he's gonna go Columbine, or so, whatever. Now, see, this is a disastrous interpretation. Or a guy may be going to a party, he thinks he's gonna fit in. He starts talking to people. The problem is he's hanging out with guys that he got high with. A cop comes into the party, sees his moods fluctuate fast, sees that he may talk without blinking his eyes, he may seem to have the sense of, they don't know if the guy's telling the truth or not because they don't know what to make of their impression, and their appearance and how they are behaving. People may be unsure and they may be scared of teachers or whoever, but then they turn around and get railroaded into a situation because, a lot of people might see the way they are carrying themselves. They're not so sure this one. And you can have a situation where a guy goes to a college and makes a few mistakes. And then in his case, people were already unsure of him mentally. They did not have an aroused neurological release of dopamine and then subsequent release of oxytocin that would draw a bond and make these people like this person or love them and bond to them. Instead, they have the opposite. And they've pushed this fight-flight instinct in someone's head. And instead of having a friend, they have an enemy. And the more they try and interact with this person, the more they are labeled creepy, weird, crazy, retarded, God knows what, any ignorant stereotype that you can make. And this is synergistic because the guy has whatever he has. It's like a chess game. His cards may be a certain way, and he may have a certain number of cards in his hand. And if he plays his cards the right way, he has a good outcome. And if he plays his cards the wrong way, he has a disastrous outcome that could become dangerous. And he could suddenly be railroaded into the worst images. And it's been known to happen. So, honestly, with relationships, enjoy yourself and enjoy hanging out with somebody. Don't worry about where it goes the next day. I mean, this is where a lot of times with autism, people may have a rigid notion of what they think the person should be like. And they may be too stuck on a routine on a date. Whereas you should enjoy yourself and, you all connect doing stuff and you can enjoy yourselves even more when you're being yourself and comfortable who you are. When somebody appreciates you for you. If you start trying to act out or stuff, in the worst case scenario, it might be putting you in a serial killer image as some guy who lives a double life. Or you could scare instructors and people around you and even get police action or God knows what. There could be a guy that goes up to somebody in a class and, he asks this girl, how do you think he did in the test? And she doesn't like him and doesn't remember telling him she had a test. She doesn't think about him at all, doesn't pay any attention to him. And the worst thing about it is he sees her from he's behind her here and greets her from that direction. And she says, oh my God, this guy's following me. They kind of have this mentality because neurologically they feel comfort around him. Whereas on the other hand, they could have somebody else that really appreciates them for who they are and really likes their talents and thinks there's something else. and totally is impressed by them. And then that is what you want to look for. And you know what? It's great to get rejected because a lot of situations just aren't going to work. And, it just depends on a lot of things. And autism creates an advantage because people become more unique and they develop more character traits that will help them in the long run. They're not the guys that just know the right stuff to say immediately and have a string of lousy flings. They tend to have much more quality relationships, and they tend to have these abilities that will impress people. So, you just got to find your talent and know yourself. Like in the art of war, strike what is weak. Have a political leverage in a situation. If you can't win politically, you can't make it work. If a girl and her friends don't like you, then don't try and give her gifts with brute force to expect her to change her mind, because she will feel that you are intervening in her life and feel that you are eavesdropping or whatever. Instead, you go out there and have situations, and a person who likes you will call something spontaneous. A person who doesn't like you will call it random or weird. A person who likes you will say, "Oh my God, I can't believe he remembered this about me. It makes me feel important." Somebody who doesn't like you will say, "Oh my God, how does he know this? Is he like spying on me?" I mean, it all depends on mental perception. And so this is where, you just be natural. And when you see people, just connect. Don't even worry about stuff. You might ask somebody for directions or whatever. And then y'all get into a discussion about how, confusing the door numbers are, or, whatever. And all of a sudden, somebody could give you good advice. Get somebody's advice on something. And get them to talk about what they want to talk about. And then all of a sudden, that is another test. Like if a girl loves talking about something, but she can't say 2 words about it around you, that's not a good sign. If she hates a certain thing or doing a certain thing, but she wants to do it around you, good sign. Everything goes in a curve. It all depends on how you are interpreted in your environment. And, you're going to go through times when you don't have relationships, and you have them, then you don't, then you have them, then you don't, then you have them, then you don't. And so it really depends on a lot of factors. And so basically, with Asperger, you have an advantage. You just got to find your secret talents and abilities, and you will find that you wow other people who run you down or whatever, don't think you have anything. They will be shocked. Like Einstein went out there, and his math teacher said, "Oh, you aren't going to amount to a damn thing. You're a waste of space in my class." And look what he did. He may have had a severe, disability at this. He had a severe ability at that, and he wowed people away. You just got to find it. And you know what? You will have the better relationships, trust me. So, this is my video, and hopes it helps.